As our country attempts to grapple with nationwide protests against police brutality and the coronavirus pandemic, we turn our attention to this year's elections. He's a former Oakland Raiders safety, Super Bowl champion, and now the Republican nominee in Utah's 4th Congressional District. Burgess Owens joins us now. Hello, Mr. Owens. It's a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to chatting with you for sure. Absolutely.
Okay, so over the weekend, President Trump endorsed your campaign and you responded and said, quote, "From a childhood in segregation to being endorsed by the president, it's an honor to live in a country that has made that possible." But in America right now, we are seeing many people that don't necessarily agree with you that it's an honor to live in this country. Instead of celebrating 4th of July weekend, we saw large protests across the nation supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. So how do you feel the president has handled this nationwide unrest?
Well, first of all, he's doing the right thing. What we have to understand, Emily, and this is something I've talked about for quite a while, we're truly in a fight for the culture, the heart and soul of our nation. We have been for quite a while, and we're beginning to see it. The reason why I have such an appreciation for who we are and our country and how far we've come is because I know my history. And it was Karl Marx who said the first battleground is the rewriting of history, and that's what the left has done quite a bit. Just keep this in mind. I grew up in the deep South Tallahassee, the third black to go to the University of Miami. And here I am years later running for Congress, getting our endorsements of a president. And more importantly, we can now talk about the results of an 8-year presidency of a black man. And one just recently, Kanye, just now running for president. This has become an everyday occurrence because we live in a country that truly anyone can live the American dream. Be willing to work for it and gain reputation and the respect of people around you. So I'm excited about it for sure.
Absolutely. So I guess that leads me to my next question for you. So as part of these protests, we've seen many demonstrators pushing to tear down Confederate monuments, remove the Confederate flag, and even these statues depicting American history. Now, in a tweet yesterday, you said, and I'm quoting here, "When can we stop taking monuments down and figure out how to save millions of children being trafficked, get jobs back, tackle criminal justice reform, and a million other more pressing issues?" Now, at today's White House press briefing, Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, she actually echoed your remarks, and she had this to say. Let's take a quick look at this clip.
I was asked probably 12 questions about the Confederate flag. This president's focused on action, and I'm a little dismayed that I didn't receive one question on the deaths that we got in this country this weekend. I didn't receive one question about New York City shootings doubling for the 3rd straight week.
She brings up an interesting point there. So what is your message to these lawmakers that seem to be more focused on tearing down monuments than they are on cracking down on the violence we've been seeing and ultimately protecting the lives of the people in their communities?
What we have to understand is the way that the left works. This particular ideology of socialism and Marxism, it thrives on misery of other people to get their power, and that's what we're seeing today. There's so much going on right now, so much misery in the black community, and yet they're not addressing it because it doesn't fit their narrative. We're now in an election year, and I could have 4 years ago told you there'll be riots, there'll be Democrats talking about reparation, all these kind of things that have nothing to do with we the people moving forward. I think, though, Emily, to be honest with you, that this is what our country really needs as a nation. Democrats, Republicans, and Independents love our country. We love our future. We love our culture, and we don't like bullies. So we have a conversation. We have time finally to have a conversation that in the past we have not had. Now we can see what we have in common, and what we have in common is we need to defeat an enemy that hates our country, our way of life, and are doing everything they can because they're so frantic. They are scared to death that President Trump will win another term, will win back the seat, will win back the House, will get more backbone in the Senate, and we'll give our president a chance to move forward. They do not want that. They'll do anything they can to throw mud against the wall to show that we are not the country we are. We're going to come through this, though. I really feel confident about it.
Absolutely, sir. We need to restore love in America again. Now, finally, Mr. Owens, before I let you go, what is the #1 thing that you hope to accomplish if you are elected to serve in Congress?
Very easy. Ignorant and free can never be. That was Thomas Edison, to paraphrase him. We need to get our education back. We have been under attack for decades by the termites, these Marxists that thrive in safety in our institutions. They turn out good kids coming through, looking for an opportunity to build the American dream, coming out little Marxists. So we need to make sure we're clawing back from those universities to not teach our kids have become a good product, and also make sure we're competitive around the country. So it's a great conversation. Education is everything. Our rights and understanding that will depend on how well we do that. Let me just say this for those Americans. Let's get the House back. Whoever's in your district, good freshman Republican candidates, make sure you support them, guys. Together, we're going to make this thing happen. We're It'll be a very, very exciting next 4 years if we get our House. So let's get it done.
Well, certainly, Mr. Owens, best of luck with your campaign. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it. All the best.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.